Mrs. Gray Math here. Well, today I want to continue with our notes on Introduction to Standard Form. So up until this point, you've seen equations in slope-intercept form. You've done a fabulous job of manipulating those equations to standard form. So now let's look at number 3. So you see here, no longer in slope-intercept form, this is our point-slope form. So once again, the first thing I did is, because I want to convert this to standard form, I grabbed my star chart and just kind of reminded myself up here of what standard form is. It's that ax plus by is c. So now let's just start. We're going to solve this equation, get this into standard form. Well, I have parentheses, so the first thing I'm going to do is we are going to distribute. So when we distribute, I have 5x, and then 5 times 2 plus 10. And I've yet to touch my left-hand side. Okay, well, next thing that I want to do is we can go ahead and we can add this 6 to both sides. So I can have y by itself. And when I do so, I have y equals 5x plus 16. And did you see what I did here? What format did I put it into? Did I create? I hope you recognize this is slope-intercept form. Okay, but remember, my main goal here is I need to put this into standard form. So now I'm going to subtract the 5x from both sides. And I'm left with negative 5x plus y on the left, 16 on the right. Okay, and I have one more step to go, because although I have my x and y on the same side, and right now they are integers, my a value is negative. Cannot have a negative a value in standard form. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by -1. And when I do so, I have 5x minus y equals 16. Okay. And there we go. We took an equation in point-slope form. And when we manipulated, we first brought it down into slope-intercept form and then finished off with standard form. So now continuing on with our introduction to standard form, let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 did not give us the equation, but let's see what does it give us. Well, it's asking us to write an equation in point slope, slope intercept, and standard form. Don't panic, you got this. So let's see, what are they giving us? Well, they're telling us that this line is going through the point of -6, 12. And it has a slope of -2/3. So let me identify, well, what did it give us? Well, we know -2/3 is our slope. There's my m. And I have my point of -6 and my y value of 12. So the first thing I think I'm going to do, because I have 2 points in a slope, I am first going to write this in point slope form. Okay, because that's all I need for point slope form is I need 2 points and a slope. Okay. So looking at the right hand side, I know my point slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So let me just kind of write this here in case you've forgotten. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And now I am simply going to substitute in what I've already identified from my problem into the equation. So I have y minus y1, which is my 12, equals my slope, which is -2/3, my x minus my x1. Now, notice my x1 is -6. The negative is also, a subtraction sign is also part of the equation. So those 2 negatives, it's going to turn that into a positive, and I have a +6. Okay. And right now, here I go. I have this right now. That is in my point slope form. Well, the next thing they want us to do is let's take this into slope-intercept form. Okay. Remember, slope-intercept form is we just have y all by itself. Remember that y equals mx plus b. So the first thing I want to do, I'm hoping you're thinking the same, is you're going to distribute. So I will have my y minus 12 equals my negative 2/3 x, and then my negative 2/3 times 6, that is going to put me at a negative 4. Okay. Now my last step, I want to get y by itself. I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Do you hear Jeter? Jeter's been doing some math today too. So here I have y equals and negative 2/3 x plus 8. And there is my slope-intercept form. So I have a y-intercept of 8 and a slope of negative 2/3. Okay. Well, now the final step, because we got 2 out of the 3 that they have asked us to do. The final one that they're asking is now they want it into standard form. Okay. So I'm going to take my slope-intercept form, my y equals my 2/3, I'm sorry, my negative 2/3 x plus 8. And now I'm going to convert this into standard form. Remember, standard form, we want our ax plus by equals c. So first, I'm going to add the 2/3 to both sides because I want x and y together. So I now have 2/3 x plus y equals 8. Not done yet because I have that fraction. I don't want that fraction, so I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 3. And when I do so, I'm left with 6x over 3, which I'm hoping that you know, okay, that reduces to 2, right? That reduces to 2, so I'm left with 2x. Oops, there goes my pen. 2x plus 3y equals 24. Okay. And there you have your standard form. So let's now look at number 6. Well, number 6, once again, didn't give us the equation, but gave us 2 points. So unlike number 5 that gave us 1 point in the slope, number 6 just gave us the 2 points. But that's okay, because what can we find from 2 points? Well, I'm hoping that you said that you can find your slope from 2 points. You'd be absolutely correct. That is what you can find. So I am going to first label my x1, y1, x2, y2. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to find my slope. Okay, so I'm going to plug it into my slope formula. And so now I have my, let's see, I have my negative 9 minus our negative 7, so that turns into a positive 7, over R2 minus 1. So here I have negative 2 over 1. My slope is negative 2. Well, that's the great thing. Great thing is now I have a slope, and now I have 2 points to choose from. Okay, so I'm going to use my x1, y1. You could have used 2, 9. You could use your x2, y2, but only pick one. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to write this into point slope form. So I have my y minus my y1. My y1 is -7, so that's going to turn into a +7, equals my m. I found my slope, which is -2, x minus my x1, which is, there you go. Okay. And I have point slope form. Now that I have it into point slope form, let's now put it into slope intercept form. So remember, we want that y equals mx plus b. Okay. So in slope intercept form, I want to first distribute out of point slope form. So I'm going to have that y plus 7 equals -2x plus 2. And now I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Leaves me with y equals -2x minus 5. Okay. And right there, that is my slope intercept form. Now we have one more to do, and that is our standard form. Okay. Now that I have it into my slope intercept form here, I want my x and y on the same side. So I'm simply going to add 2x to both sides. And that leaves me with 2x plus y equals -5. Now I'm being asked to write an equation of this table in point slope, slope intercept, and standard form. So looking at my table, the first thing I need to do is I need to find my slope. Okay, and I can do that. I'm going to choose 2 points. I'm just going to start with these first 2 up here so that I'm not traveling down this table. I'm going to label them as x1, y1, x2, y2. And now I'm going to plug them into my slope formula, which is that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 9 minus 6 is 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. My slope is 3. Okay, so 3 is my slope. Okay, now that I have my slope, I'm going to start with I'm going to write this in. Let's go with, I hope you're thinking point slope form, because that's what I'm going to write it in. Look how many options of different points I have. I can use any of these options, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with the first one, 1 and 6. Okay, but you feel free to use any of these. So remember, my point slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So I have y minus, I'm still going to use my y1, which is 6, equals my m, which I found is 3, x minus x1. Okay. And there is my point slope form. Now that I have it in point slope form, let's bring it into slope intercept form. Okay. So the first thing, please distribute. So I'm still left with y minus 6 equals 3x minus 3. And then I'll go ahead and I'll add 6 to both sides so I can have y isolated all by itself, right? On the left-hand side, I have y equals 3x plus 3. Okay. So there is my slope intercept form. And finally, I'm going to leave with my standard form. Okay, remember a standard form, we want both our x and our y on the same side. So now I'm just simply going to subtract the 3x to both sides. -3x plus y equals 3. I'm almost there. I need to get rid of that negative, so I'm going to multiply everything by -1. And I have 3x minus y equals -3. And there is my standard form. And now to our last one from a graph. But look, it's only asking us to write it in standard form. Great, no problem. Okay, we got this. So Hey, the first thing I would do, put it into slope-intercept form. Write an equation for this line in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form, you just need two things. You need, that's right, the slope and the y-intercept. Well, we can tell our y-intercept is right here. It's at that 4, okay? It's where this graph crosses this y. So my b value is 4. Now I need to find my slope. Okay, so I'm going to choose my two exact points. I'm going to start with my 0. Remember our 0, that's just another name for x-intercept. And I'll use my y-intercept. Okay, and then I'm going to count up. I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going up 4 and over 1, 2, 3, over 3. So my slope is 4 over 3. And it is positive. Look at that graph. Yes, it is a positive slope. So now let's write this into slope-intercept form. Well, I have y equals, oh, there's my m, 4/3 x plus 4. Okay. That is the equation for this line. But I'm not done because it has asked me, and we are being asked to write this in standard form. So just like before, standard form, we want our x's and our y's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract 4/3 x to both sides. And when I do that, I have negative 4/3 x plus y equals positive 4. Okay. And hopefully you've noticed, well, we got one more step to do because not only do we have a fraction, but we also have a negative. So I'm going to multiply everything, the entire equation, by the negative 3, which would leave me by 4x minus 3y equals negative 12. And there is that equation for the line in standard form. Now, here's the great thing. Do you remember why we like standard form? Well, I'm hoping because standard form, we can easily tell the x and y intercepts. So here is how you can check it. Okay, we know at our y-intercept, which is 4, because we can clearly see it on the graph, our x value is 0. So take the same equation and plug in 0 where you have this x. So if that's 4 times 0, I'm left with negative 3y equals negative 12. And if I solve for y, well, I'm left with a y value is positive 4. Look at your graph. Are you looking at a y-intercept of positive 4? Yep, you are. So now let's check the same thing with the x-intercept. Okay, with our x-intercept, our y value is always 0. So go back up into this equation in standard form. You're going to either cover up that negative 3y, like that cover up method, or plug in the 0 where y is. So we would just be left with 4x equals negative 12. And now we're solving for x. So I have x equals negative 3. Now take a look at our x-axis. Is your x-intercept negative 3? Absolutely. Look, makes sense. Great way to check your work. I hope this video was helpful. Remember, when we're manipulating these equations, these linear equations in these different forms, it is going to take practice. So you're going to need lots of practice, lots of paper, give yourself lots of room. Okay, you got this.